Awesome. So these next questions, first question is, tell me about you and your background as a developer.
I'm a full stack developer, a software full stack developer. Actually, I started back when I was in around maybe 18 years old with JavaScript and web development. But as soon as I learned about blockchain and how it can actually change and actually impact so many different industries, I just decided to focus fully on blockchain production and actually see how I can actually be part of the community. Yeah.
So
Your turn, Titus.
yeah. So I studied computer science. So I have a BS in computer science, and I've always been fascinated with how computers work. So my first introduction of programming language came in form of, even though a lot of people say it's not a programming language, but I'll still take it, it is, which is HTML. So the very first time I worked with HTML and CSS and it worked, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Then I got introduced to Java. Then I fell in love with Java. I like the whole object-oriented paradigm. So where you have to like imitate real life objects to create what you are doing. So it made a lot of sense to me because I can easily relate. So I was able to do more. Then with time, I picked up the framework, which is Spring Boot. So I've been doing Spring Boot now, been close to 3 years. So that's just basically it. So a backend engineer, Spring Boot, and Java. So
Excellent. And have either of you built anything on blockchain before the bounty hack?
no,
Yeah.
not individually. Okay, you want to go first, Melvin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've dabbled in Ethereum and Solidity. I built a simple smart contract and an NFT, and I've actually also just gone through the detailed the technical white paper of blockchain and try to re-implement it on my own. But it of course it wasn't as good as the actual Bitcoin, but it was just for learning purposes.
How about you, Titus?
Okay, so I can't really call it a build because it was more of a coding along with the tutorial. But at the end of the day, I had to like come up with another way to solve the problem because now learning Solidity is a different ballgame entirely. It's like learning because coming from an object-oriented background, you are now learning a functional-based language. A lot of things still seem strange, but I'm coming around with it, and I was able to build an airline reservation system on Solidity, but it's still on the remix ID, so it's not deployed yet.
Impressive.
Thank you.
And why is it that you both chose this project? Okay.
For the NFT, I think Titus and I agreed that NFT is something that it's a big issue in Africa, like just creativity and actually getting royalties and getting paid for actually the creations you make. It's been a big issue in Kenya especially. Personally, I was a producer once, and I know the struggles that the artists go through actually trying to actually just get a percentage of what they make. You see, so that's why. So that this is why Africa has taken so much interest in blockchain because it gives them so much ownership and so much control on what they create.
Sorry, my power just went off. Oh,
Oh no.
Africa.
sorry, let me get like a light or something.
Yeah. But Estefania, these are the things that actually like motivate Africans to try and do blockchain
Okay,
and just
so it's back on.
decentralization.
Yeah, so I think there was
I
like a
guess.
switching. So yes. So can I continue?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was embarrassing. So
No, well, actually, it was actually
No.
brilliant because of what Melvin was just talking about. And
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
true, right?
Exactly.
It's like these are the
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
happen.
actually,
It's real life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
actually,
motivation,
So
right? To keep going and like
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
fix these problems.
yeah,
And it's
actually.
all about
So
content. It's not even about that. It's a big issue. It's just the
uh,
people who want
I,
to
I
control
I
it
think the first time
are
I
not.
spoke with Melvin, we had a
Yeah.
lengthy conversation on how a lot of things are not working, like how a lot of things are not the way they should be. Like we've seen other people do these things, and you can't tell us it's impossible because how are other
Yeah.
people managing it? So
Yeah.
then it's a whole lot. So I think when we started this project, there was an issue of fuel scarcity in the country, and I'm like, people are moving to clean energy, and we are still struggling with fuel. Like it's not supposed to be that way. So there's a lot to fix. There's a lot to work on.
Mhm.
There's a lot to work on.
I feel like that was the best answer I could have gotten for why did you choose this project?
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, thank you so much for just sharing that with me. That's really cool. Um,
Mm.
and the next question is, what are your thoughts on the Reach platform? What was it like working with Reach and figuring out how to use that to build your
Mm.
applications?
Of course, learning any new language is actually a bit tricky. But Rich, since it borrows so much from JavaScript, it's a bit easier to learn. But it's very a lot of things like you're not really aware of how much Rich is able to do because it appears so simple, but it is actually trying to achieve so much in the blockchain sphere because it is trying to implement each and every. Because if you wanted to actually code a smart contract with Ethereum, you'd use Solidity. If you wanted with Algorand, you'd use Tail. So this is I think this is just the natural direction where the industry will go, where it will just use a single platform to make all these things. So, and I'm very grateful for the team actually with the Discord channels. They were very assistive, and also the Slack channels. They were really responsive with the question if you have so many questions. And I understand that actually this is a very it's a very complex program, and it's very early in the stages. So it will continue to improve, and the documentation and the tutorials will continue to improve, and it will be much easier for people to learn. And as soon as it becomes easy for people to learn, people will immediately adapt to it because it is actually much simpler than trying to learn Tail or Solidity. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess my turn. So actually in Java there's something called dependency injection. So it helps you like write minimum code while achieving a great solution by bringing in someone else's code into like someone else's logic. That means someone has already done the heavy lifting for you. You just have to think about how you want to use their code. So I think which has something like that. It does a lot of heavy lifting. So you don't have to focus on a lot. You just have to think about the logic rather than how the code is going to be implemented, like how it's going to work behind the scene. So that was what actually drew me to it. Like it does a lot of heavy lifting for you. And I think when I completed the tutorial, I was like, is this it? Like this is actually going to work. And, and it actually did. So I was really happy, like, oh, okay, there's something that does heavy lifting for you. You just have to do the barest minimum and it lifts. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Amazing. And going back to the things that inspire us to want to change the world and even like our local communities, if you had all the money and funding in the world, what would you build on blockchain?
What would have been? Uh, Probably it would have to be an instrument that young people can use to empower themselves. You see, that is all these young Africans did. It's not that they're lazy or they're not. It's just they don't have the opportunity to do these things. So any platform that just empowers them, they will be really active on it, and they will be very willing to actually learn. So in terms going just being realistic right now, what empowers them right now is art, because it's your own skill, and you don't need anyone's permission to do it. You just have to rely on it. That's why so the NFT auction and NFTs, if you want to try to expand to music or any other type of artistic venture, it will be very very helpful, and there will be a big community, because there's a whole community here that is very hungry for that type of exposure and access.
Great answer. Titus, how about you?
Okay, I think one of the problems in my country is the whole system, the system itself. So when it comes to election and putting in leaders, it's always really messy, because you'll be so sure that you're actually voting for this person, then it comes out as somebody else. We've had cases where people register voters card, and the day of election, they can't find their voters card. And at the end of the day, you hear that those people actually voted, and they'll be like, how? Like, I didn't vote. How does my vote count? So I'll probably like to build a transparent election system. Like, since we are building on the blockchain, it is immutable. Anything you do stays on the chain. Anybody can come and verify. So I would like to build a voting system. So it's going to be transparent. So I believe when we get the right people in power, then we can pick it from there. So that's what I think I would do.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much for answering all these questions. I love the answers.
Thank you.
Stop recording this.